Hi and welcome everyone to the Whimsy Stamps Autumn Hop and Giveaway. We'll be featuring the Slimline Fence Die Set throughout the hop, each team member sharing their take on this die set. And for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to the Whimsy Stamps online shop, you're going to leave a comment and subscribe to each participating channel. Now, using the hashtag in the title of the video, hashtag Whimsy Stamps Autumn, you'll populate a list of all the participating channels. So thanks for joining me here on the Whimsy Stamps YouTube channel. I'm Lisa. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, subscribe and set your notification bell so you won't miss out on new content. I'm going to share some hop info with you shortly, but for now, let's have a look at the Slimline Fence die set and get started with this simple card making process. So laid out here in front of me, I have the pieces that come with this die set. You're getting 4 short posts for your fence, and then you're getting 2 long posts for the fence. Plus you have 4 little pieces of grass there, and you're getting 4 screws as well. I'm going to go ahead and jump us right into some die cutting here. I want you to see how easy it is to die cut that long post with a 6-inch platform. So I'm going to go ahead and prep all of my pieces. I'm using my Spellbinders 6-inch platform. I'm going to go ahead and give my paper a little twist and start laying things out. I'm only going to be cutting the 6 pieces that you see here for this video because we're actually going to modify these pieces to fit the scene on our card. So I'm taping the long pieces down because we actually need to turn these around in the die cutting machine. It makes it a little bit easier when you tape them down, and then you don't have to worry about them shifting while you're trying to maneuver them in the die cutting machine. I'm going to remove the short pieces for now and set them to the side, and then we'll go ahead, turn the long pieces around, run them back through the machine so we can continue to cut them, and then we'll be ready to pop those out of there and go ahead and get started with our card. So that's how you'll cut those long pieces if you have a 6-inch platform die cutting machine. It's actually really easy. Now what I did is I went and I pulled some inspiration, and I pulled out one of my little cards from my cubes, and I'm going to be using that. Laid out here in my MISTI, I have an A2 card base. I have the top part of it protected because at this point I really don't know how far up I'm going to be stamping. So I just cover the back side of my card so that I don't stamp on the back side of it. So I'm going to get started with this stamping, and I'm using my VersaFine Clair Golden Meadow ink. I think it's a perfect match with my inspiration card that I've pulled. I have the stamp or a stamp from the Whimsy Stamps Wildflowers Grass stamp set so that I can just stamp some grass along the bottom of my card base here. I'm going to go ahead and reposition the stamp and stamp on the left side. I'm going to let it overlap just a little bit on what we just stamped, but I'm just going to stamp that same image again on the left side of the card base, and then we're ready to move on to stamping our trees from one of my favorite Whimsy stamp sets, the Seasonal Trees stamp set. So I'm going to go ahead and position my stamp on the left side of my card base, and I'm going to be using VersaFine Clair Morning Mist ink. Now I want to point out that it's a close match to the gray in my card, but it's not a perfect match. So this is kind of a blue gray, as you can see, and the Morning Mist is not a blue gray, but it's okay. We're going to make it work for us, and we're just going to ink our stamp up. Again, I'm going to reposition it 2 times, stamp it, and then we're going to move on to the next step of this card making process. This is actually a very easy card to make, and it doesn't take much time. You could do some quick and simple mass producing with this background by just taking the card base out, laying a fresh one in, and stamping it again. Or you could even, if you have, a lot of us have more than one MISTI, you could set it up so that you stamp your grass in one MISTI and then your trees in another MISTI, because that's all the stamping that we're doing here. Let's go ahead and fast forward through the stamping part, because I feel like it's just your basic stamping here. I do want to point out that on a couple of the trees, I stamped a solid image, but then I'll just move the tree and do like a generation stamping where you just use the ink that's left over on the stamp to do a lighter stamped image. And it gives you a little bit of dimension when you do that. Some trees look closer, some trees look farther away. So it looks like we're actually doing 4 trees here. And once we have this done, we're going to go ahead and move into our fence and some ink blending. Looking at my die cut pieces here, I can tell these are going to be entirely too large for my card base. And for that scene that I just stamped, the scene's not a large scene. So what I want to do is modify these pieces so that I can still use them on my card. I'm going to remove the card base from my MISTI and go ahead and set that to the side and clear off my work area so I can bring in my paper trimmer to cut these die cut pieces so that they fit my scene. So this is a great way to show you how to take what you have, modify it so that it's still going to work for your card. And plus, then not only do we still have a slimline fence die that'll be great for other scenes, larger scenes, but you can also see that with simple cutting with your paper trimmer, you can create so many different things with this. Now, I've even taken this set and created tabletops for coffee cups. I just recently did that in a video. I did one maybe last year or the year before where I created a tabletop to set a globe on for a graduation card. So think about more than just a fence with this die set. Think about all the things that you can create. I did a card where it looks like a sign that, you know, there's slim, tall signs that people put out by their front porch that are usually shiplap. You can take this and create some really cute Halloween cards using the Victorian layers and some of your Whimsy Stamps Halloween silhouette dies. So think about all the different ways that you can take this one die set and get as many uses as possible out of it. Here you can see I'm laying my pieces out because I want to make sure that they fit that scene. Once I have them laid out, I'm going to go ahead and glue these together with my Barely Art glue. Remember, Whimsy carries Barely Art glue now, and it's available in the online shop, and you can pick it up in the boutique. Now that I have the pieces glued together, I'm going to put some magnets on them and just let them sit here and dry while I start to gather some more supplies. I'm grabbing some Distress Oxide inks and blender brushes for ink blending our next pieces. Well, we will be ink blending this fence. I just wanted to make sure it was dry. Now I'm starting with our chip sapphire ink, and once I start laying it down, I realize it's a little bright for what I'm wanting. So once I finish ink blending this, I'm actually going to come in with Faded Jeans and a little bit of black soot on this as well. So while I'm ink blending, I do still need to give you some details, but I also have some other information I want to share with you. So real quick on the hop information. So for the hop details, remember, for a chance to win that $100 gift certificate to the Whimsy Stamps online shop, you're going to want to click that hashtag Whimsy Stamps Autumn in the title to populate the list of participating channels in this hop. You're going to hop along, leaving a comment and subscribing to those channels. This is a very short hop this time around. Also, you have until August 21st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time to leave those comments, and then the comments are going to close. Once they close, the winner will be announced in the description box of this video, August 23rd. You need to check back and see if your name was drawn. If it was, then you can email us, and all of that information is going to be down below in the description box. So be sure that you scroll down and you check that description box out. Now, as I continue doing my ink blending here, I do have some other news I want to share with you. And that is, this is going to be my final video for Whimsy Stamps. It's not a bad thing. I am super excited for the possibilities that lay ahead. I made a decision that to give my business a real chance at growing, I would step back from Whimsy Stamps. I do want to say thank you to Denise and Deb. They were absolutely amazing to work with. I loved being a part of this Whimsy Stamps family. It was a great honor and a great opportunity. And I just wanted to say thank you to them. And like I said, I'm super excited about the things that are coming and the opportunities that are coming. So I want to let you also know that you can still find me over on Confetti and Cards with Lisa Mensing, which is my personal channel. I will be sharing all types of content over there. I hope that you will join me over on my channel as my new chapter continues over there. And I just want to say thank you for being so supportive. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time here with you all and with Whimsy, and I'm just so excited for the things ahead. So back to the card making process, and what I've done is I finished off that ink blending with that black soot and the chipped sapphire and the faded jeans on my fence. I went with something a little bit different with it. And I added mounting foam strips to the back of it to pop it up off my card, because you guys know I love my dimension on my cards. So what I'm going to do now is do some die cutting with the Build-A-Pumpkin die set. This is one of my favorite die sets from Whimsy. I absolutely love it. It has so many things that you can use for fall, but also you can use for Halloween as well. So quickly, I'm going to run these two dies through my die cutting machine. It's the smallest, the tiny little leaves that come in that die set. And I actually end up cutting two smaller pumpkins in that die set. I'm going to cut those out, and then we're going to do some quick ink blending with Distress Oxides in Fired Brick, Rusty Hinge, and Fossilized Amber to do some quick ink blending on these. You can see I have everything laid out. I'm matching my colors up to my little cube card, which I'm loving these things because, wow, it makes it so easy to pull colors and create. Now, I do want to say that I have a piece of masking paper laid out there, and you know I like to lay small pieces on masking paper to do my ink blending. So quickly, I'm just using some tiny little blender brushes that I have and picking ink up, and I'm just going to quickly color these tiny little pieces. Now for the larger pieces, you can use your Whimsy blender brush, and you can use the smaller Whimsy blender brush. I just don't have any of the smaller ones. I only have the large ones. Just a quick blend. So I start with the heavy color, and then I just fade that color out as I move along the tiny little leaves. And then of course we'll do the pumpkins with the Whimsy blender brushes. So once the ink blending is done, it's just a matter of arranging the items on your card. And now you can use your glue, you can use foam adhesives, or a combination of both is what I actually ended up doing. And I wanted to point out, notice how we've covered up where we stamped the bottom of those trees. So when you are stamping your trees, don't worry about the bottom of them showing over your grass, because more than likely you're going to end up covering those up with all of your die cut pieces. And I just using my lift and release tool here to lay down the pieces. This lift and release tool is amazing for so many things other than just sequins. It's great for using it with your die cut pieces, picking up tiny little pieces and stacking them one on top of the other. Like I used it here to do the autumn word die. If you haven't seen this die, it is absolutely beautiful. And I die cut 3 layers of the word out, and then I did some ink blending with laying that word on masking paper. You can see that there in the shot. I did the same colors, the chipped sapphire, faded jeans, and black soot on that. I'm just now using my Barely Art glue to go ahead and stack that up on the shadow of that autumn word. And then we're going to add this to our card, and that's going to wrap this up. I'm not adding anything else to this card. I wanted to keep it clean and simple, and I wanted to really just focus on that Slimline Fence die set and show you how easy it is to modify that die set to fit the scene of your cards. I do have a slimline version of this card I'm going to share with you here shortly, so don't forget, you need to hop along, leaving a comment along the way and subscribing to the participating channels for a chance to win the $100 gift certificate. The commenting closes on Monday, August 21st. We will leave the winner in the description box of this video on August 23rd, and you'll send us an email letting us know that you are the winner to claim your prize. So let's go ahead. Here's the final card. I really love the way this turned out. I'm so glad I pulled my inspiration from my color cube and I used those colors. I think they're beautiful for fall. Let's have a look now at that slimline version so you can see how, even though we used the slimline fence die, it was still a little bit too big for the scene I had created. So we just went ahead and modified it like we did with the first card. Now we did change up the colors a little bit, so I'm actually loving the A2 more than the slimline, but you get the feel of what's happening there, right? So we used the same die, we modified it, we used the same Build a Pumpkin Patch die set to cut our leaves and our pumpkins, the same wildflowers grass, the same seasonal trees, and we added the autumn blessings. That's going to wrap us up. Don't forget, you can still find me over on Confetti and Cards with Lisa Mincing here on YouTube. Plus, you can find me over on my blog, Lisa Mincing, or Confetti and Cards with Lisa Mincing. So I want to say thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Take care.